Right, welcome to this review for the new Deathwatch Codex. Games Workshop have very kindly sent me a copy early here ahead of time, and so in this video we'll take a look at the Deathwatch Codex. We'll cover it from start to finish. We'll cover all the units, combinations, and then things like stratagems, warlord traits, and it's going to be a tactical review. So I'll approach this, I don't have Deathwatch myself, but I'm going to approach this as if I am collecting Deathwatch and what units, what combinations would work well, so sort of some tactical analysis as we go along, trying to pick out what seems to be the stronger units, ones that aren't so strong, and so on, just to help you along. So there'll be a mixture of people watching this. There'll be some experienced Deathwatch players looking to see how good the new Codex is. There'll be those perhaps who are just starting, or those who are thinking about collecting Deathwatch. So hopefully there's something for everyone here. I encourage you to check the comments section. Those with tactical experience and so on often leave comments here in these videos, so you can read through them and gain some help from what other subscribers have to say. So Games Workshop has sent me the copy through. I usually get mine from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop but at a discounted rate. That means you can get things like your codexes, your miniatures, paints and so on for less of a price from them. There's also other gaming systems available from them as well, so that's gamingfigures.com is where I usually get my Games Workshop stuff from. So I think that's the artwork we were expecting, just that classic piece of artwork there for the Deathwatch. There's some beautiful models for them. They really are nice, as you'll see as we go along here. So inside artwork fighting against the Eldar avatar here. We'll see there's some cool colour a bit later on. Yeah, this is a good summary of the colour scheme for them. It's shades of grey, and then other colours not really stand out. And you've got the silver colour here as well. So a limited colour palette, but that becomes a very strong theme for the Deathwatch. But there's a lot of black and silver and so on. So if you're not keen on painting those colours, then maybe Deathwatch is not the best style. But they can look very smart. And again, the miniatures are very, very nice. So there they are, painted up to look nice, and they have that brilliant flyer, a beautiful model, Corvus Blackstar, fantastic model that is. Yeah, here's the artwork here, fighting against the Eldar. So this is a Space Marines chapter that gets called in to take on the most difficult of foes, and these sort of Black Ops sort of special forces of the Space Marines here, the elite of the elite here, sent into the most difficult of missions. So background, another fantastic piece of artwork here. See, in black, but there's colours you can add in. You can decorate the shoulder pads and so on with the different chapter colours, and you've got things like the blue of the power swords and so on, so you can soon start to add colours into them. It's a great artwork here, the Long Vigil, the Brotherhood of Heroes, fighting against the Tyranids. So you're going to see them fighting against a variety of opponents here. Tools of the Alien Hunter, so specialist ammunition and so on. So different squad markings here, and the whole structure of them. Beautiful banners. Kill teams. The Oathsworn Tithe, again some brilliant artwork here, this looks really good. Some background information, storyline for them. Again, there's a lot of more artwork than I realised for the Deathwatch, some great stuff here. Another beautiful piece of artwork, again fighting against the Tyranids, fighting against Gene Stealer cults. Right, it's different types of units here. So you've got the Watchmaster, another brilliant model. They have chaplains, apothecaries, watch captains, watch captain Artemis, that character, again, brilliant model for him. And then now, yeah, they've been just talking about this, so you're getting your Primaris Marines now for your Deathwatch, all contained within the Codex. So, you know, if you want Primaris Marines, you want Deathwatch, you can keep it all within the same Codex. Obviously then granting, the great benefit of this is that coming from this Codex, then those Primaris Marines can partake of all of the bonuses that are inside this Codex here, so which is good. aggressors, hellblasters, all available, veterans. So what I'm going to end up doing is I think I'm going to review units that are specifically Deathwatch, so not going to go through in particular detail the regular Space Marine units. If you want to see the details for them, just check out the Space Marines Codex review. It's in 2 parts already on the channel here, and for regular Space Marines that's going to give you all the information in that review. So I'll probably skip over regular units for Space Marines like Reavers, Veterans, Vanguard, Terminators. I'll cover the rules that you can add to them inside this codex, but as far as the standard rules, I won't be covering them again. Yeah. But got access to a lot of stuff now. Bikers, all the transports, Rhinos, Razorbacks, drop pods, the Dreadnoughts, you get a Redemptor, look at that. They're pretty cool. The Primaris painted up for Deathwatch here. Be a nice idea. The Repulsor as well, access to that, Land Raiders. There's the Corvus Blackstar. If you're going to collect Deathwatch, you've got to get one of these. They're beautiful models, they really are nice. Yeah, again, they've got them here fighting against Genestealer Cults. It looks like a good matchup. Does look very cool. It does look good. Deathwatch at War. Another great piece of set of miniatures up really nice there, fighting against the Tyranids. Nice showcase of all the miniatures. Yeah, very smart. Very, very smart looking Space Marines these. So there's some great models here. It's giving you an idea of a small army here. So a few kill teams and so on. Again, giving you an idea of a larger force structure. Yeah, so you're really assembling sort of a very elite specialist force here. Alright, so into the rules now. We're over halfway through the book. So, Nation Know No Fear, it's reroll morale tests as usual for Space Marines. Then special issue ammunition, when this unit fires any ranged weapons from the following list. So it's tons of stuff here. Resolver, bolt pistol, auto bolt rifle, bolt carbine, bolt pistol, bolt rifle, bolt gun. The different combi weapons, the Guardian Spear when you shoot with it, Heavy Bolter, Hellfire Extremis, Mastercrafted Auto Bolt Rifle, Mastercrafted Bolt Gun, Mastercrafted Stalker Bolt Rifle, Stalker Pattern Bolt Rifle, Storm Bolter and Twin Bolt Guns. Any of those. You can choose for it to fire special ammunition. If you do so, choose one kind of ammunition from the table to the right and apply the corresponding modifier. Right, so this is very, very flexible here, and this is the immediate thing that you're getting with Deathwatch, is this sort of tactical flexibility. You know, choose your different types of ammunition, assemble very specific types of units. So it's very sort of special ops kind of way of playing Space Marines. So you just choose, it's not fixed at the start of the game, you choose which one you want each turn you fight or shoot. So you can go for Dragonfire Bolt, add 1 to the hit rolls for this weapon when targeting a unit that is in cover. So you try and flush a target out, it's helpful enough. This weapon always wounds on a 2+, this is Hellfire, except against vehicles and Titanic units, but anything else, yeah, monsters, Wraith Lords, still 2s for a wound. It's helpful. And then a Kraken Bolt, add 3 to the range of this weapon if it's a pistol, or 6 inches otherwise, and improve the AP of the attack by 1. So AP 0 becomes AP -1, for example. And then a Vengeance Round, and again you can pick and choose this just as the situation arises, the ability to adapt whatever situation you're in. Vengeance Rounds, subtract 3 inches from the range of this weapon if it's a pistol, or 6 inches otherwise. So for example, like a bolt is going to be 24, would then become 18 inches, but you improve your AP by 2. So AP 0 becomes AP -2. And you can go up to a maximum of AP -3. So it is pretty good. Yeah, so the bolt gun, for example, 18-inch range, you say, right, I'm going to fire Vengeance rounds, and then you become AP -2. It's very good. Brilliantly, very, very flexible, that. So you'd really learn that off by heart and make sure you get that right every time, but there's a different type of ammunition to call upon as the situation comes up. There's all the war gear, and you get a lot of a lot of this war gear is going to be covered in the Space Marine Codex review. Right, so the Watchmaster then, I'll call out power levels for you as well, and points values also. So the Watchmaster is 130 points, that's not including war gear. It's power level 7, it's movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, that's a lot of wounds, that's good, and then 4 attacks, nice and healthy, leadership 9, 2 up save, so it's an excellent stat line. He's armed with a Guardian Spear, frag and crack grenades. So the Guardian Spear is 0, so you just pay your flat 130 points, comes with the spear already, you're not paying for anything else. So he's, for that stat line, it's pretty good. Yep. The Guardian Spear then is a shooting weapon, range 24, rapid fire 1, so it's like a bolter, strength 4, but it's AP -1 and 2 damage. And then in combat as well, it is +1 strength, so he becomes strength 5 in combat, AP -3 and D3 damage. So he's good. Frag and crack grenades, they should no fear, and there's special issue ammunition for him as well. So even that Guardian Spear, yep, it's in here. So even the Guardian Spear can have those modifiers. For example, you fire your Vengeance rounds will then turn into AP -3, 2 damage. Very good. Yeah, imagine you catch a lot of people out with some combinations of these. You know, some well coordinated ambushes using the right kind of ammunition. Looks good. And I think it's decent cost. 4+ invuln save as well for Iron Halo. And Watchmaster, you can reroll hit rolls for friendly Deathwatch units within 6. That is excellent. So I would say the Watchmaster is very, very good. He really is good. Excellent stat line, cheap enough in points. The shooting weapon's okay if you start to add in the special issue ammunition, and the Guardian Spear's decent enough as well. And reroll hit rolls for friendly Deathwatch units, I mean that can be anything. And it's hit rolls, so it's shooting and for combat. So an excellent bubble bonus for him as well. Tons of wounds, 6 wounds, 2 up save, 4 up in 1 save. No, it's a solid choice for a Deathwatch army, so it's a good one. So then you got Watch Captain Artemis, one of the named characters. And I would say it's helpful. This is an elite army, so it's probably going to be quite small to a degree. So it's helpful to have an HQ that's decent and doesn't cost too much. You know, 250 point HQ, and all of a sudden a big chunk of your points have gone. Your army becomes even smaller. But he is 130 points, so he's good. Good value. So Watch Captain Artemis then. Here, he's 130 points. Is the same points cost, and that will include war gear. Yep. Power level 7 again. Stat line is the same, except he has 1 less wound, and his armor save is only a 3+, not a 2+. So not as good, but I'm sure they have compensated for it in other ways. So Watch Captain Artemis, single model armed with Hellfire Extremis, Power Sword, Frag and Crack Grenades, and Stasis Bomb. Only 1 model per army. So Hellfire Extremis. When attacking this weapon, you choose one or both of the profiles below. If you choose both, -1 for more hit rolls. So 3+ to hit. So the Hellfire Flamer, it's range 8, assault D6. It's auto hits on the target. The weapon wounds on a 2+, unless it's a vehicle, in which case it wounds on a 6+. And it's damage 1, and there's no minus on the AP. So it's okay, nothing major on that one. Then if you go for the bolt gun, that's just regular bolt gun. No different to the usual with that. Obviously it's got access to the special issue ammunition though, so it can become quite good. Usual rules for Power Sword. Stasis Bomb, 6-inch range for this. Grenade 1. This weapon can only be used once per battle. If the attack hits, deal D6 mortal wounds to your target. If it misses, Watch Captain Artemis suffers D6 mortal wounds. Oh dear, that's terrible. Dear oh dear, better make sure it hits then. D6 mortal wounds. if you miss. Okay. You got rights of battle. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 made for friendly Deathwatch units within 6. That's the same benefit as above. Unstoppable champion. Roll a d6 whenever Watch Captain Artemis loses a wound or 6. He does not lose it. That's not that great. And he has a 4+ invuln save. I would say the better of these two. They're exactly the same points for cost. I'd say the Watchmaster's better. Shooting weapon's better, and his combat weapon is better. So for that reason I'll go for the... and he saves better, and he's got more wounds. No, I would choose the Watchmaster out of all of these. So that's what I would go for. So then you've got a Watch Captain next. 74 points. I'm guessing it's just going to be regular Space Marine rules here. Yep. The stat line is power level 5. Yeah, this is just your regular captain here. I can't see any difference really. He's just give you an idea. He's moving 6, 2+ weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, and 3 up save. Pretty much the same stat line here. Yeah, 4 up invuln save, rights to battle, reroll hit rolls of 1. Okay, so this is still the better option, I think. You may as well just get reroll hits. So yeah, standard captain. Then you can go for the Watch Captain in Terminator armor. Usual rules for that. Yep. Okay. The Primaris Watch Captain, again, regular Space Marine rules. Librarian in Terminator armor. This is all usual stuff. Primaris Librarian. This is all Space Marine rules here. Chaplain. It's a nice model, that one. Deathwatch Chaplain. Chaplain in Terminator armor. Primaris Chaplain. This is all regular Space Marine stuff. Veterans. Intercessors. Okay. Yeah, so we're on troops now. Yeah, so that's all the HQs. I said this is basically access to tons of Space Marine stuff and Primaris stuff. Now I'm going to zoom in here on the specifics. So we'll look into veterans here, and then we'll cover some of the unique weapons that are available specifically for the Deathwatch. We'll cover that here. Most of the units here are going to be regular Space Marine, so that means I can divert more attention to things like the special rules in the Codex here, stratagems, warlord traits, relics, and so on, which we'll come to a bit later on. So veterans then, this is troops now. So your troops options are veterans. You've got access to intercessors here as well. And then, well, that's it. So it's Deathwatch veterans and intercessors. That's what's gonna build up the troops part for your army. I'm just looking here. Yeah. So there's so much diversity here. Veterans is made up of regular veterans, which is it's power level 9 for 5 veterans, by the way. So regular veteran is usual Space Marine stat line, except you're on 2 attacks. Then you've got the Watch Sergeant, who's on 3 attacks and leadership 9. Then a Black Shield, who's on 3 attacks as well, but leadership 8. Terminator, usual rules for him, 2 wounds, 2 attacks. The Biker, the extra toughness, movement of 14, usual rules. And then the Vanguard Veteran is the one with the jump pack, range movement 12 and 2 attacks, 3 up save. So this unit contains 5 veterans. A Watch Sergeant may replace 1 veteran, so the Watch Sergeant, there you're getting the extra attack and leadership 9, so it's well worth taking the Watch Sergeant and giving him. If you've got a model that has like 2 attacks, wouldn't usually bother with paying out lots of upgrades and giving them expensive war gear like Fundamas and so on. But as soon as you start to get around 3 attacks, I think it's worth it here. So the Watch Sergeant and the Black Shield, they have 3 attacks each. Another way to play Deathwatch, I think, is to have, say you got a unit of 5, give 2 or 3 the decent upgrades, and then have a couple of spare no upgraded guys. They're the ones that can absorb the damage, absorb the wounds. You don't lose too much. You know, if you give them all Thunderhammers or whatever upgrade you choose, you can end up wasting your points when the first models start dying. So I try and bury the value inside the unit and just have some spare Marines with no upgrades. They've got access to the special issue ammunition anyway, so they're decent enough as they are. So, just to give you an idea, standard veteran then for troops is 16 points. Here, Bikers 25, Black Shields 16, Terminators 31, Vanguard veterans 18 points. Basically playing 2 points for your jump pack ability. The Intercessors 18, Aggressors 21, Hellblasters 18, Inceptors 25, and Reavers 18. So a Black Shield can take the place of one veteran, so it's well worth adding him in. It can include up to 5 additional models in any combination of veterans, Terminators, Bikers, and Vanguard veterans. So you can go for a real mix of a unit. You could almost have like one of each model. Each veteran, Watch Sergeant, and Black Shield is equipped with a bolt gun, frag and crack grenades. That's your standard loadout. Each Terminator is armed with a Stormbolter and Power Fist. And each veteran sergeant equipped with a bolt pistol, chainsaw, frag and crack grenades. Each biker is armed with frag and crack grenades, rides into battle on a Space Marine bike, equipped with a twin bolt gun. Again, I think even the bikers, yeah, get the bonus here. Twin bolt gun comes under the special issue ammunition. So even the humble bolter here for the Deathwatch can be deadly enough. So the rules there for bolt gun and grenades. Any veteran, Watch Sergeant, or Black Shield may replace their bolt gun with 2 items from the Deathwatch equipment list. So this is really, you can really start specialising. Like this combination here, I've always loved this one. Veteran of the Iron Hands, he's got a Power Maul and Storm Shield. It's a very, very good looking combo, that one. The Heavy Thunder Hammer for the veteran just there. The Deathwatch Frag Cannon. This is the deadly stuff they can have access to. So, any veteran, Watch Sergeant or Black Shields, they've all got access to this Deathwatch equipment. So, just looking for the special ones here. Bolt pistol, chainsaw, grav pistol, inferno pistol. That's like Blood Angels. That's the 6-inch range. But yeah, just if you're not, I'll just cover this one because it's not a regular Space Marine. Inferno pistol, range 6, pistol 1, strength 8, minus 4 d6 damage. If you're in 3 inches, you can roll 2 dice for damage and choose the best. Or discard the lowest, whichever way around. So that's available as well, it's interesting. The Hand Flamer, the Lightning Claw, the Plasma Pistol, Power Axe, Power Fist, Power Maul, Power Sword, Storm Shield, Thunder Hammer, regular Thunder Hammer, and then the Xenophase Blade. So the Xenophase Blade, it's all regular stuff here, but the Xenophase Blade is 7 points, it's 3 more points expensive than a Power Sword. And it is strength with user, AP minus 1, AP minus 3, 1 damage. You must reroll. Your opponent must reroll successful invuln saves for wounds caused by this weapon. Interesting. Handy against things like Gene Stealers. Xenophase Blade. Okay. So pretty good. So that's what they've all got access to, so you can do a real bit, variety of a unit. Up to 4 veterans may replace their bolt gun with an item from their heavy weapons list. So you can go for a lot of heavy firepower. So you can take the Deathwatch Frag Cannon. It's 25 points. Ouch, it is expensive, but it is good. It's just here, the Deathwatch Frag Cannon. So when you take on this weapon, you choose one of the profiles below. The frag round is 8 inches, assault 2d6, strength 6, minus 1 and 1 damage, and then auto hits on the target. I mean, that's deadly. If you took even 2 of them in a unit, 2 or 3 of those in a unit, you'd have some blistering anti-infantry fire. Then if you get charged, it's auto hits on the target, so very useful if you actually charged as well to get those hits coming in. Then you can fire the shells. It's nice and adaptable, so you can go for the anti-hordes close range, or you can fire the shell, which is range 24. It's assault 2, strength 7, -2 and 2 damage. If the target is within half range of this weapon, its attacks are resolved at strength 9 and AP -3. So the shell's not bad either. But Deathwatch Fragcan 2d6. Auto hits. And suddenly, if you have even 2 or 3 or 4 of these in a unit, it's a deadly firepower. So, Heavy Bolter, Heavy Flamer, Infernus Heavy Bolter, and Missile Launcher. It's the Infernus Heavy Bolter. When attacking with this weapon, you choose one of the profiles below. If you choose both, -1 from hit rolls. You can go for both. Heavy Bolter, range 36, and then Heavy 3, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. And then you go Heavy Flamer, strength 8, assault d6, strength 5, AP -1, and auto hits on the target. It's just a combination of 2 weapons together, really. Infernus Combi Bolter, or Infernus Heavy Bolter, is 20 points for that. So again, expensive enough, but very specialist piece of shooting equipment. And then a Missile Launcher. So it's up to 4 of them can take those items just there. Out of all of those, would say the Deathwatch Fragcan would be my preference, I think. So, and it's very specific weapon for the Deathwatch as well. I mean, if I was collecting these, I really would try and collect models and units that are specifically for Deathwatch, and try and use the special war gear and the weapons that the Deathwatch have available that's unique to them. Okay, so you can really study this out and put together very specialised units. There's tons and tons of options. Any veteran may place their bolt gun with a heavy thunder hammer. Right, so again, you could have a whole load of them armed with these. Problem is the cost, no doubt. Yeah, 30 points a time, so you've got to be sparing of it. And again, would you bother giving it to a model with 2 attacks? That's the issue. The Heavy Thunder Hammer then is ×2 strength, as usual, -3 d6 damage. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. Each time you make a wound of a 6, this weapon, its hit is resolved with a damage of 6. Ouch, each time you make a wound roll of a 6, so that's a deadly amount of damage. Damage 6, there's not many weapons out there that deal that kind of damage out, so that's nasty. If you get that 6. So a watch sergeant may take a combat shield, that's your 5+1 save, wouldn't bother with that. And then any Vanguard veteran may replace their bolt pistol and chainsaw with a thunder hammer, or a heavy thunder hammer, and then or 2 items from the Vanguard equipment list. So Vanguard bolt pistol, chainsaw, grav pistol, hand flame, inferno pistol, lightning claw, plasma pistol, power axe, fist, ball, sword, storm shield, and thunder hammer. So access to all of that as well. So the theme, usually I have, if I play 40k, I have units, usually I have them with specific roles. You know, this unit's anti-tank, this unit's anti-horde. But for Deathwatch, I'm getting the impression you're wanting to make your units diverse so they can stand a chance of doing damage against anything. So you got your team together, and some of them would be great at dealing with a horde, a couple of heavy flamers or equivalent weapons. Then you'd have ones that might be good at taking out heavy infantry, so weapons with a -3, -2 on for their save on their AP. And then you might want units that are decent in combat as well. So they're sort of an all-rounder type unit, I think, is the impression, or the sort of the theme that would match in with these very well. You know, not 5 Marines all with thunder hammers. It's obvious what they're there for. It's just sort of mixing it up, spreading the different types of abilities and models and specialisation around. So adaptable. Again, that's the theme, isn't it, really? Tactical flexibility, ability for that unit to adapt to whatever type of target it's coming up against. I think it's the idea. So it would spread the cost. You know, if you all go... See, the other advantage of that is, you know, tactically, if you say, right, I'm going to take this unit here and it's going to be my super anti-tank unit, you know, heavy thunder hammers throughout the unit, the opponent's going to see that in a game and just going to target them if they're a threat. Whereas if you spread those heavy thunder hammers around to multiple units, your opponent's got to try and work his way through all of those different units to try and get through to the assets. So I would say diverse squads with abilities to do all different things would be the way to go. It looks great as well, and it's the whole idea behind the Deathwatch. That's the theme they have. So the Watch Sergeant can take a combat shield, we've covered that. Vanguard equipment, we've covered that, yes. So up to 3 Terminators may replace their Stormbolter with a weapon from the Terminator heavy weapons list. So Terminator heavy weapons, Deathwatch frag Terminator heavy weapons, assault cannon, cyclone missile launcher, and heavy flamer. Usual rules for Space Marines for all of that. There's tons and tons of options here. Any Terminator, what size unit can you go to here? So 5 veterans, 5 additional. Yeah, and then each veteran, you can choose which type you want them to be. You pay the corresponding points. You could have all Terminators, for example. I think you can play it that way, and then a mixture, which is, I think, how I would do it. So, any Terminator replace their Power Fist with a weapon for the Terminator melee weapons. So Terminator melee weapons here is here. Chain Fist, Power Axe, Power Maul, Power Sword, Power Fist and Melter Gun. Interesting. That's cool. Power Fist and Melter Gun. Power Maul as well. It's interesting. You could take that as well. Any Terminator may replace their Storm Bolter and Power Fist with 2 Lightning Claws or a Thunder Hammer and a Storm Shield. So that option's there as well. Any biker may take a Bolt Pistol, a Chainsword, a Power Axe, a Power Maul or a Power Sword. And then one biker may take a Deathwatch Teleport Homer. So special rules then, abilities then for these units of veterans, however which way you decide to make your combinations. And they should know no fear. Combat squads, you can take 10 and split them down or keep them together. And special issue ammunition as well is worth bearing in mind. So even models you take that have 0 upgrades, they can still be pretty good with that special issue ammunition. Mixed unit. A unit of veterans can contain models with different toughness characteristics. If this is the case, use the toughness characteristic of the majority of the models in the unit when the enemy makes wound rolls against it. So if you've got 4 Space Marines in there and a biker, you take them, the whole unit toughness 4, because that's the majority toughness. If there's no majority, the Deathwatch player may choose which of the values is used. So if you've got a biker and a veteran left on foot, then you can choose to take the biker's toughness. For the purposes of determining what models a vehicle can transport, Terminators have Terminator keyword, bikers do not have the infantry keyword, instead have the biker keyword, and Vanguard veterans have the jump pack keyword. Right, so that's for your spaces being taken up. Combat shield. I guess that means no, that's your limitations. So if you say, right, I'm going to have a biker in my unit, then you're sort of cutting down your options as far as what can go in what transport. Combat shield, storm shield, usual rules. Unflinching. This unit automatically passes morale tests if it contains any Terminators. Nice. It's big incentive. Big incentive. You know, elite army, the last thing you want is a bad morale result, and then models melting away. Every model that's lost, you know, is a blow, and then if you lose them just for a bad morale test, then it's not good. So big incentive there to get that Terminator in there. Auto pass morale. The Terminator's in amongst the middle of that unit. It's well worth doing. Terminators have a 5+ invuln save. Relentless assault. When a unit of veterans that includes any bikers falls back, they can charge later that turn. Wow, some major incentives to really mix it up. So as I was saying earlier, don't get the impression that you want to go for very specific units to take out very certain types. It's this sort of flexible take on any type of target. So that fits in with that relentless assault there for bikers. It's very, tactically it's helpful to be able to pull out charge of combat is good. Atonement through honour. A unit that contains a black shield can make heroic interventions as if it were a character and must do so if able to do so. Cool. Vanguard strike. Vanguard veterans can move across models and terrain as if they're not there. In addition, when a unit of veterans that includes any Vanguard veterans falls back, it can shoot later as if it could fly. Oh. Right, so you can have one Vanguard veteran there, that's the guy with the jump pack, and then the rest of that unit then gets, they're allowed to shoot as normal if they fall back out of combat. Yeah, well worth doing that. Then you got the Deathwatch teleport helmet. That's your rules for that, the usual Space Marine rules for that. So these are very, very specialised units you can make. All sorts of combinations. So at this stage what I'd say is which combinations are good is the big question. Size of the unit, the loadout, and then your pick and mix from here. What would you go for? So what's your optimum size? If you have experience using the Deathwatch and you've had some units that have performed quite well, then by all means leave that in the comment section. It'd be fascinating to hear what combinations have worked well for you. So is it unit 6, unit 7, full unit 10? And then how do you break that down? What models, types of models, weapons, close combat weapons and so on would you choose? And then sort of the points. An idea of the points as well. You don't want to make a unit that's too expensive, but then again you don't want a waste of time unit that's so badly equipped it's not going to do anything, so it's getting that balance right. Yeah, and protection as well. There's ability to have storm shields and so on, so you've got to try and protect the unit, keep the unit alive, protect them. So I mean, even a Terminator in there, just absorbing damage with a 2-up armor save and an invuln save, like a storm shield, a regular 5+ invuln save, that would all help protect the other, perhaps more softer models in the unit. Then maybe you might want to mention, I haven't reached it yet, but your transport options. How would you deliver these to the table as well? Because that's another massive issue. Is what do you deep strike them in, teleport Homer? Yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking here, the Deathwatch teleport Homer. So if this unit has a Deathwatch teleport Homer, place it anywhere on your deployment zone. When your army deploys, if an enemy model is ever within 9 inches, you deactivate and remove from the play. Whilst there are any friendly Deathwatch teleport Homers on the battlefield, a unit that contains one or more Deathwatch Terminators can perform an emergency teleportation. Yes, I was wondering if this was slightly different. Right, so you have, I think I'm getting this right here. You've got a unit of 5, one of them is a Terminator. Because he's in the unit, you can make use of the teleport home. This is very unique to these. Usually it's just Terminator units, but it means you can take the units on the table. Yep, and then you can pull them an emergency move across the teleport home and stay within 6 inches. Yep. So I can imagine also, like you've got 3 units, each of a Terminator, and you've got these different teleport homers set up around the table, and you can just pull back to them. Move about all over the place. Cool. Yeah, I tell you, to do well at these, you'd need some practice, some battlefield experience, and to really know your stuff for this to work. Because this is quite intricate here, getting this exactly right. This is by no means straightforward. Here, getting these combinations. That's what's going to be interesting in the comment section. Have a look and see what people have said is the good combinations that seem to work well. And I imagine you may well find it's the variety combinations that sort of, they do quite well at all the different types of targets and situations, may well be the best options. Yeah. Yeah, it says here, look, it's interesting. One biker may take a Deathwatch teleport homer. Yeah, so even the bikers can take it, but it needs to be a Terminator that has it. So, Terminator melee weapons, any Terminator may replace their Stormbolter and Power Fist with 2 Lightning Claws or a Thunder Hammer and a Storm Shield. Any biker may take a Bolt Pistol, Chainsword, Power Axe, Power Maul or Power Sword. And then one biker may take a Deathwatch Teleport Hammer. Okay. So, very, very flexible here. You're not going to get more flexibility in this and more variety in this. You know, multiple different types of units, models from units, they can all converge and form the veteran squad. Fascinating. But I'm sure you can get some deadly combinations from this. So again, so Intercessors, but it's not quite, it's like it says here Intercessor Squad, but it's made up of all sorts here. So you can take Intercessors, and then from within that you can go for the regular Intercessor, the Intercessor Sergeant, the Hellblasters, Inceptors, Reavers and Aggressors. And this is all mixing up in a unit. Yep, and it's 1 Sergeant and 4 Intercessors, and you can take another 5. And then you can, any combination of these listed here. So total diversity here with these. And imagine painted up in the Deathwatch colour scheme would look very nice. So I'm not really going to go for any of these rules here, because you can just equip them how you would from the regular Space Marine book. Same rules here for mixed unit. Auxiliary grenade launcher, usual rules for that. Crushing charge, that's for the Inceptors. Terror troops, firestorm, relentless advance, these are all the usual rules here for Primaris units. So it's just really the ability to mix and match everything and create that combination with the Intercessors. Primaris Apothecary, Venerable Dreadnought, Redemptor Dreadnought, all available here now for the Deathwatch, all nicely contained within the Codex. Now, even the vehicles, I suppose the vehicles carrying a Stormbolter. When this unit fires ranged weapons. Stormbolter, yeah, it's in there. And special issue ammunition. Ah, right, not necessarily. No. Okay, so you're not getting it for the vehicles. I was wondering if the vehicles, like a Rhino's got a Stormbolter, it can fire special issue, but this does not seem to be the case. It doesn't have that keyword here. Nope. So it's the infantry that are going to get the specialised shooting weapons. Dreadnought, Redemptor Dreadnought then. Regular Terminators, Reavers. Right, so you can go for the mix and match type units, which is very in line with how the Deathwatch operate, or you can just go for your regular squads. Regular unit of Reavers or Terminators, whichever you want. Aggressors, Vanguard Veterans, Bikers, this is all the usual rules for Space Marines. Inceptors, Hellblasters available for them as well. Land Raider Crusader, Land Raider Redeemer, Rhino, Razorbacks, Drop Pods, all available here. This is all good. The Repulsor as well. Right, Corvus Blackstar is one of the unique ones here for the Deathwatch. So, as I said, if you're not familiar with those rules for regular Space Marine units, then just check out the regular Space Marine Codex review on the channel. So, Corvus Blackstar is power level 12. It starts off without war gear at 150 points, and you add your war gear on top. It's broken down to a damage bracket here, so Ballistic Skill 3+, it starts off at. Movement is 20 to 45, so this is the same as a Storm Raven gunship here. Then your damage bracket is 7 wounds or less, you drop down, and then 3 wounds or less, you drop down. So you have, interesting this, Strength 8, Toughness 7, it's tough as a main battle tank, 14 wounds, nice lot of wounds to try and get through. Leadership 8 and a 3-up save. So Corvus Blackstar is a single model armed with a twin assault cannon. So 44 points, you're pushing up to about 195 points with that. Storm Strike. 2 Storm Strike missile launchers. 21 times 2. Yeah, so about 240 points. 240 points, interesting. 240 points. You've got the Storm Raven comes in at about, fully loaded out, about 360. So significantly cheaper than the Storm Raven gunship. Yep. It's interesting. This model can transport 12 Deathwatch infantry models. Each jump pack or Terminator model takes the space of 2 others. You can also transport Deathwatch biker models. Each takes up the space of 3 other models. So this is an excellent transport here for these specialist units. Cannot transport Primaris, which is kind of weird, but there you go. You can't transport Primaris. But anyway, if you've got that specialised squad, you have got a biker in there, and you've got a Terminator, that's no problem here for the Corvus Blackstar. So Storm Strike missiles, that's the same that the Storm Raven gunship has. Let's have a look here. Range 72, heavy 1, strength 8, -3 free damage. Yeah, it is. Okay. So the model may replace its twin assault cannon with a twin las cannon. How do I equip? It's difficult to know how to equip this vehicle. Depends what you need to do. I mean, you equip it how you, whatever gap there is in your army. If you're severely lacking in anti-infantry, then take the twin assault cannon. If you're really lacking with a bit of anti-tank, bit of long range, then take the twin las cannon. This model may replace 2 Storm Strike missile launchers with 2 Blackstar rocket launchers. They're 15 points, so they're cheaper by 6 points. You choose a profile. You can go for the Corvus warhead, range 30, and range isn't going to be a problem with the fly. You're going to be able to move around nice and quick and get within range, no problem. Heavy D6, strength 6 -1, and you can add 1 to the hit rolls of this weapon when targeting a unit that can fly. Okay. Right. And then the Dracos warhead. Again, same stat line. Range 30, heavy D6, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Add 1 to the hit rolls of this weapon when targeting a unit that's in cover. It's pretty poor. The Dracos warhead's pretty poor. Yeah. No, it seems the Corvid's better. And remember, you got 2 of these. So, yeah, it's going to be 2d6 shots coming in at strength 6 -1. Hurricane bolters, Storm Strike missiles, twin assault cannon, twin las cannon. That's your options. This model may take a Hurricane bolter, just 1, and this model can take an Infernum Halo launcher or an Auspex array. So the Infernum Halo launcher is an option you have to add on. It's just 5 points. You can reroll save throws of 1 for this model if it's equipped with an Infernum Halo launcher and it has the supersonic ability. So whilst you're up there flying at speed, not whilst you're hover mode, you're going to get rerolls of 1, or save throws of 1 for that model. Yep, if it has the Infernum Halo launcher, which I would probably add on. I think it's worth it as well. Your Auspex array, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for a model of an Auspex array when targeting an enemy in the shooting phase that cannot fly. So I would more likely add that in as well. Yeah, 5 points. So the problem here, and we'll see if later there's anything that can help this model out. The big problem is it's like a Storm Raven gunship, but it doesn't have this Serpent Machine Spirit. So whenever you move, which is like all the time, unless you're going into hoverjet mode, you sit there, you're going to be on -1 to hit with everything apart from the Hurricane bolters. So your Corvid, your Blackstar rocket launcher, your Storm Strike missiles, twin assault cannon, twin las cannon, it's all -1 to hit because you moved. Which is a shame. You know, this is a Space Marine flyer and yet it's hitting on 4s. But there's little bits here where you're sort of re-rolling 1s, little tweaks to push it up a bit, but still, it's not that good. The Auspex array, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for a model when targeting an enemy in the shooting phase that cannot fly. Okay. So we've covered that war gear. Hover jets. So before the model moves in your movement phase, you can declare it will hover. This is similar to the Stormram gunship. Say, right, I'm going to hover. You can go up to 20 inches, any direction you want, but then you lose airborne, hard to hit, supersonic abilities to your next phase. So airborne, you can charge, only be charged by units that can fly. It's hard to hit, -1 to hit it. Supersonic as usual. Crash and burn, and then the Cold Star cluster launcher we've seen. The Allspex Ren Infernum payload launcher. Blackstar, I need to cover this here. Blackstar cluster launcher. This model can fire its Blackstar cluster launcher as it flies over enemy units in the movement phase. If you do so, after this model has moved, so just like even the tip of the wing just goes over the top. Pick one enemy unit that it flew over. Then roll a d6 for each model in the unit up to a maximum of 10. Each time you roll a 6, it suffers a mortal wound. So that's okay. It's not too much to be afraid of. You know, a tank, it's going to be 1 rolling into 6. So better for flying over against hordes. Or just a well-equipped unit of infantry. Yeah. Okay, so the Corvus Blackstar is okay. That hit rolls is a shame. Difficult. Is it worth it? Yes, you could go into hoverjet mode, but make yourself more vulnerable. You know, if it wasn't for that, it would be an excellent unit, but that forced to hit, I know the difficulty of it. Been using the Tau sometimes recently. It's been forced to hit, and it's difficult. You get half your shots missing. Isn't the most encouraging, really. It's something you're not expecting with Space Marines. Okay, so we've covered the units that are specific to the Deathwatch. So they've been covered here, and then all the other units is just regular Space Marines. So just check out the Codex for those details. So again, they've listed all of your stuff in here. We've covered all the specific types of weapons in here. Range weapons. Covered all these. Yeah, it's all covered. Melee weapons. Covered that as well. So they are again fighting against Gene Stealer cults. This is the matchup here. There's the explanation. As the Deathwatch drove home their attack, the streets of Port Ithaca are slicked with Xenos, Ichor and Traitor Gore. Hissing Gene Stealers and chanting cultists hurl themselves at the Space Marines in wave after wave. Yet amidst the roar of bolted weaponry and the reek of sanctified promethium, the Deathwatch scythe down more of their alien foes with every moment. So this is the classic fight here for the Deathwatch. So yeah, a lot of the factions have like classic matchups, like Space Wolves versus Thousand Suns. So this seems to be like the very thematic one to try and fight it out between these two. You can imagine specialised teams dealing with this cult infestation. Sounds good. Okay, so Hunters of the Alien. So they're specialising in hunting down Xenos specifically. So abilities then. If your army's battle forged, troops, units, and Deathwatch detachments gain Defenders of Humanity. That's your objective secured. Rule that all the factions are getting. In addition, infantry, biker, and dreadnought units and Deathwatch detachments gain the Mission Tactics ability. So Mission Tactics, units with this ability gain a bonus during the battle depending on which mission tactics they are currently employing. Before the battle, pick one of the following mission tactics. The tactic you choose will remain active for the entire battle, though it may be possible to change tactics during the course of the battle by using, for example, the adaptive tactics stratagem. Right, so now it's not fixed, you can change here for paying command points. As long as the tactic is active, it affects all units in your army that have the Mission Tactics ability, which is infantry, bikers, and dreadnoughts have that, as long as your army's battle forged. Yep. So bearing that in mind, even dreadnoughts here can get this, and bikers and so on. So there's plenty. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you can choose from. You choose this at the start of the game, and you can possibly change it with stratagems. Now, what's interesting is before the battle, so you know who your opponent is. You say, oh, I'm against Gene Stealer Cults in this game, I'm going to choose such and such a tactic. So again, adaptive. You can adapt. Your list isn't fixed as such. There's the ability to adapt to whichever opponent you're fighting against. You're up against Tau, right, I'm going to choose this one. Up against Hordes, up against Elite, then you can pick and choose. So for all tactics then, when attacking an enemy unit with the troops battlefield roll, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. It's okay, it's not that major. Venator tactics, when attacking an enemy unit with a fast attack battlefield roll, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. This is actually very straightforward here. Yeah. Dominatus tactics, when attacking an enemy unit with elites, reroll wound rolls of 1. Malleus tactics, reroll wound rolls of 1 for heavy support or Lord of War. Reroll wound rolls of 1 for HQs, which is Purgatus tactics, or Purgatus tactics, and then Raptorus tactics, when attacking an enemy unit with the Flyers battlefield roll. You can reroll wound rolls of 1. So a little bonus there. Need to remember to do it. It's easy to forget that, I think, in the middle of a game. But I suppose you would remember, you say, right, I'm up against a lot of troops here in this game, I'm just going to get reroll 1s from all my infantry, bikers and dreadnoughts. It would be helpful enough. It would be helpful enough because it's going to apply to so many units in your army. So I doubt you're going to get a brigade with these guys. So you've got to base it on a battalion. So there's enough variety there. The units are so variable, you should be able to easily do it. So battalion's definitely viable, and that's a minimum, is have a battalion just to get yourself a nice lot of command points. 5 points now for battalion, 3 points for Battle Forged. So it gives you a nice healthy amount there to kick off with. Because you want to make use of the stratagems here, just to get the most out of your army and to just give them that edge. So we'll cover these, and the good thing for the Deathwatch is there's 3 pages in. So Armour of Contempt, some of these are going to be the same as the Space Marines. Armour of Contempt, they're 1 command point. Use a stratagem in a Deathwatch vehicle if your army suffers a mortal wound. Roll d6, it's a 5+, you ignore it. So it's okay. All-spec scan, which I've had this used against me a number of times. James likes this one. So use this stratagem immediately after your opponent sets up a unit after arriving on the battlefield as reinforcements within 12 inches of one of your Deathwatch infantry units. Your unit can immediately shoot at that enemy unit, but it's -1 to hit, so you can interrupt them, shoot at them, which can be deadly enough. I tried deep striking recently some Crisis Battlesuits next to a Hellblaster squad. James used this stratagem here and caused havoc with it. So I've seen how handy it is. Your opponent can forget about it sometimes, and then you can just counter it. They place the unit on the table, ready to fire, and you say, oh, hang on a second, all-spec scan. So it's an excellent card. And really helpful for Deathwatch. Deathwatch are meant to ambush, but sometimes your opponent catches them out. This could really bail you out of trouble. Armour of the Watch Fortress, that's your extra relics. Hellfire shells. Use a stratagem just before a Deathwatch infantry model from your army attacks with a heavy bolter. Oh, nice. Right, so it's not for scouts. This can be for any of your infantry units, as long as they've got a heavy bolter. So you roll 1 dice to hit. If you do hit, it's D3 mortal wounds. And again, Hellfire shells pretty helpful. Because no roll to wound. You can fire it at a vehicle. As long as you get that hit, mortal wounds come through. Orbital bombardment. So that's the ability to call down a barrage. Here your Warlord, he doesn't move, it's the usual rules. You pick a point on the table, d6 inches around, it's -1 to hit character, 4+ is d3 mortal wounds, which is okay. So you've got like a tightly packed Tau gun line, loads of characters and some infantry units, go dead centre, and then you can strike with that orbital bombardment. Pretty good. It costs you 3 command points though. Empiric channeling. You can use this stratagem. It's 1 command point at the start of your psychic phase. Deathwatch Psyker. Within 6 inches of at least 2 other Deathwatch Psykers. Then you can immediately attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power this turn. When attempting to manifest this power, you can add 2 to the psychic test. Helpful enough. The usual Space Marine rules. Teleportarium. Use the stratagem during deployment. For each command point spent on the stratagem, you can set up either one Deathwatch infantry unit or one Deathwatch dreadnought in a teleportarium chamber instead of placing it on the battlefield at the end of movement phases. Any units in teleportarium chamber can teleport onto the battlefield. Set them up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from enemy models. Right, this may sound like a regular stratagem, but it's so helpful for the Deathwatch because you've just saved yourself. If you use this, you're saving yourself tons of points on things like drop pods. And it's so helpful, even dreadnoughts. And for the sake of a few command points, you're able to bring them in where you need them without the use of using drop pods and so on for infantry, I mean. So that's very helpful. If I was at an army, I'd make use of that. So you'd have these regular units, no need to worry about transports for them. Teleportarium, in they come. Excellent. Very good. Yeah, I think for Deathwatch to work, you know, forget about forming a line and advancing towards your opponent. It's got to be a well-coordinated ambush. It's difficult, they're a challenge. It's similar to Blood Angels. I would compare the two together. Blood Angels have been a challenge for me. It's hard to get them right. They're very elite. They can get blown away and the army shrinks right down. Same for the Deathwatch. It's not a beginner's army. I wouldn't say it's for beginners. This is a tough army to use, I think. And you've got to get your tactics right. You've got to select your unit selection, model selection. Your weapons loadouts has got to be right. So it's a tough. But then I'm sure people that collect them, they're up for the you're up for the challenge, and that's the enjoyable thing about using them, the actual challenge of finding those winning combinations, and then the actual tactics, and it's the whole executing of a well organised plan. You know, and like Blood Angels, I mean, I would say, you know, difficult to get it right, but when it does go right and you succeed in the mission, there's a great sense of accomplishment, a real feel-good factor when you think, yes, the mission was a success, you know, really did well, and it's a great feeling. But I'd make use of that teleportarium for sure. It's very, very helpful. Death to the Alien is one command point. Use the stratagem when a Deathwatch unit from your army is chosen to attack in the fight phase. Each time roll of 6+. For model in this unit during this phase, it can if it was targeting a unit that does not have the Imperium Chaos unaligned keyword. Immediately make an extra attack against the same unit, the same weapon. And you can't generate extra attacks from these attacks. Okay, so specifically if you're taking out, say, Tyranids, for example. Just that. Well, it's a lot of stratagems here. 2 command points, only in Deathwatch's duty ends. This is a regular Space Marine one. When a Deathwatch character from your army is slain, you can immediately shoot or fight as if it was your fight phase. Helpful. Honour your brothers. 3 command points. Use the stratagem at the end of any fight phase. Select a Deathwatch infantry or Deathwatch biker unit. You can fight again. Again, helpful. The key is, and it's going to be affected now, these guys, more so than some of the other factions, affected by the new rules for FAQ as far as reinforcements, deep striking is concerned. So first turn you can only deploy, bring the unit in, you can only deploy it within your own deployment zone, and then turn 2 and turn 3 you can then try and land anywhere you want as long as it's more than 9 inches away. So really, you're looking for an ambush. If you're not going to walk towards your opponent, I don't think it's a good idea. A very elite army, you're going to get blown away. It's all about landing in amongst your opponent as close as possible, dealing out a crippling blow. Not going to wipe your opponent out, but a crippling blow where they're going to struggle to respond. And then executing that plan and seeing it out to the end. So the ability to fight again, shoot again, any help like that, so when you do land you want to make as much impact as possible. It's all about the impact that these guys have when they do make their attack. It's difficult, it's even more difficult now. You can't do that turn 1 sort of deadly attack, so it's awkward. Wisdom of the Ancients, that's for the Dreadnoughts. Until the end of the phase you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for Deathwatch units within 6 inches of that Dreadnought. Flak Missile, again it's the same, you've got a missile launcher. If you get a hit with it, it's D3 mortal wounds, and again it's not scouts, it's just any infantry has that missile launcher. Adaptive Tactics, Use this stratagem at the start of any of your turns after the first turn to change the current mission tactic for another one. If your Warlord is a Watchmaster, you can use this stratagem for 1 command point. Nice. Definitely take a Watchmaster. Yeah, it doesn't have to be on the board. It's just if your Warlord is the Watchmaster. And it costs you 1 command point. Start of any of your turns. So I think you can just switch backwards and forwards. 1 turn after the next, yeah. It is expensive because it's just reroll wounds of 1. But for 1 command point with the Watchmaster, it's not too big a deal. Okay. Be interesting later to see if there's any ways you can regenerate or retain command points for these. Stem the green tide. I'm not sure if you could do a brigade. Maybe. Stem the green tide is next. This is Orcs. Use a stratagem immediately before firing Overwatch of a Deathwatch unit against a charging Orc unit. Your opponent must subtract 1 from their charge distance for each model in the charging unit that was slain by your unit's Overwatch firepower. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So a good counter bit of tactics, a good counter to being charged is to have weapons that auto hit, like the flamers and anything with the auto hit ability. So you land your specialist squad in, it has some anti-tanks, some anti-infantry, you fire at your targets, then your opponent responds, he wants to charge in with something, then you have your flamers and so on to generate those auto hits. It's definitely helpful. Targeting scramblers is 1 command point. Use the stratagem immediately after a Deathwatch unit from your army has been hit by 1 or more Tau Empire marker lights. Wow. Immediately remove all marker light counters from the unit. Incredible. This is very cool. So specific stuff against specific Xenos types. It's great fun. How interesting. Intercepting volley. 2 command points. Use a stratagem immediately after your opponent moves an Eldar unit that can fly in the movement phase. Pick a Deathwatch unit from your army within 12 inches of it. The unit can immediately shoot at the enemy unit as if it was your shooting phase, but you must subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Nice. Intercepting volleys, very cool. These are all really good. Synaptic severance, but you have to learn these. You really would. But then if you've got your deck of cards, what I do is I sort through them at the start of the game, picking out the ones I'm going to use, and then you'd put away the ones, if you're not against Orcs or Eldar, you put those away and just leave, and then just get the one specific for the faction and make sure it's nice and clearly laid out so you can refer to it. Synaptic severance. Use the stratagem immediately before choosing targets for a Deathwatch unit from your army. In your shooting phase, that unit can target Synapse characters this turn, even if they're not the closest enemy units. Nice. So you can try and assassinate one of the characters. Really good. It's like a Broodlord is buried in amongst a load of Genestealers. You can root him out with Synaptic severance. Nice. These are interesting. Overkill. 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the start of your opponent's turn before they use the reanimation protocol's ability of a Necron unit within 12 inches of a Deathwatch unit. Notice the ranges here. 12 inches, 12 inches. Overwatch, your opponent's close by. This is all designed to help you if you are close to the opponent. You've landed nearby. So there's all of this kind of ambush, close proximity, firepower, combat, and so on. So this is an army that you're not wanting to hold back on. The only worry, they are so difficult. The only worry here is if your opponent uses screens. A thin screen of grots or gaunts swinging around the army, and then the more valuable stuff's way back. And then your units coming in are just going to be kept miles away. So yeah, it's hard to execute this with these guys. Difficult. So I know most armies struggle against, everyone struggles against hordes, but Deathwatch, yeah, difficult for them. Even more difficult for them, I think. So a Necron unit within 12 inches of a Deathwatch unit from your army. Your opponent must subtract 1 from any reanimation protocol rolls. That's just 1 command point for that. It's helpful. For all doctrine, 2 command points. Use a stratagem just before a Deathwatch unit from your army attacks an enemy unit with the troops battlefield roll. You can add 1 to their rune rolls for that attack. Oh. Right. So you can have 1 doctrine in place for the whole army, and then if there's a specific time, a specific point in the game where this unit needs a certain doctrine, then you can pay command points to switch to it, or to use it to fire as if you have it, or fight as if you have it, and then you're back to usual. But it's expensive enough, it's 2 command points. Venator Doctrine. Right, this is for 1 to the wound rolls for... No, this is different here. This is different. Yeah. So mission tactics is re-roll wound rolls of 1. Here it's add 1 to your wound rolls. So you can combo it up. You can combo the 2 together, and all of a sudden you're re-rolling your 1s and you're adding 1 to the wound rolls. Nice. So that's against troops. Here you can do it against fast attack, elites, heavy supports, HQs, flyers. So again, helpful. And again, it's this idea of you land your squad in, they're equipped to do the job, you fire at your target, and you're wanting to try and get them to accomplish that kill team objective, you know, take this unit out, and you want to stack up your stratagems and all the bonuses you can just to make it more of a guaranteed kill. So anything like this is helpful. Flyers, yeah. So optimize salvo, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase immediately before choosing targets of a Deathwatch unit from your army with a special issue ammunition ability. Different models in that unit can use different kinds of ammunition for that attack. Select which models will fire which type of ammunition. Nice. Yeah, that's really good. That's 1 command point for that. So that one's flexible. That one's very, very helpful. The Clavis is 1 command point. Use this stratagem in your fight phase. Select an enemy vehicle within an inch of a Watchmaster from your army. Roll d6. On 2+, the vehicle suffers d3 mortal wounds. Cool. And that's pretty good. And that's 1 command point. 1 command point is cheap enough. Decapitation Doctrine. It's this whole idea of delivering the killing blow, decapitating your opponent. 2 command points. Use the stratagem before a Deathwatch unit from your army attacks in the shooting or fight phase. To the end of the phase, reroll failed wound rolls for attacks made by that unit that target the enemy Warlord. Right, so you find yourself in that situation, kill the Warlord, you get reroll wounds. Nice. Tactical Flexibility, 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the start of your movement phase. Select a Deathwatch unit from your army with the combat squad's ability, that's 10 models. The unit is immediately split into 2 separate units, each containing 5 models. You can instead select unit of Deathwatch aggressors, bikers, interceptors. If the combat squad's ability has 6 models, in which case the unit can split into 3. Or each unit containing 3 models. Tempest shells. I have to say, yeah, these are okay. I think the best stratagems I've seen. They're alright. There's some help here. There is some help. Use this stratagem just before a Deathwatch infantry model from your army attacks a vehicle with a weapon that can fire special issue ammunition. You only make a single hit roll with this weapon. However, if it hits, it's d3 mortal wounds. Nice. Yeah, pretty good. So there it is. That's your stratagems, which they seem okay. Not any of them particularly blistering. There's some helpful ones there though. That seem pretty good. So Warlord traits then. So what bonuses you get here? So you can reroll failed wound rolls for your Warlord when attacking enemy vehicles or monsters. That's okay. That's Bane of Monstrosities. Number 2 is Lord of Hidden Knowledge. Once per battle, if your Warlord is on the battlefield, you can reroll a hit roll, a wound roll, a damage roll, or a saving throw. In addition, right, this is good. In addition, if your army's battleforged and your Warlord is on the battlefield, roll a d6 each time you use a stratagem. 5+, you gain a command point. So that's helpful. I'd probably take that. Because stratagems are so helpful. So any command point, any ways of getting command points is helpful. Castellan of the Black Vault. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of 1 weapon carried by your Warlord. Note this cannot be a relic of the Vigilant and does not affect a weapon using the Bane Bolts of Erexia. Okay, so that's alright. The watch, I'd still go for Lord of Hidden Knowledge. The watch Eternal, or a d6 each time a Deathwatch model from your army is within 6 inches of your Warlord and loses their last wound. On a 6, the wound is not lost. Yeah, not really, no. Vigilance Incarnate. Once during the battle at the start of your turn, you can choose to change your army's current mission tactic for another one. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with that either. And Nowhere to Hide. At the start of each of your shooting phases, pick an enemy unit anywhere on the battlefield. For the duration of the phase, that unit does not receive the benefit of cover for attacks made by Deathwatch units from your army within 6. Ugh, not that great either, really. So no, Lord of Hidden Knowledge, and then the first and the third there seem okay. Real wounds against monsters or vehicles is alright, and then +1 to the damage characteristic, which is okay, but Lord of Hidden Knowledge I think is the better one of all of those. Tactically, you need as much tactical help I think as possible to make the Deathwatch work. Right, so Relics next. You have access to 1 page, 6 relics. Again, similar to the Blood Angels, they just have a few. So Bane Bolts of Erexia. Models with special issue ammunition ability only. Add 1 to the damage of any special issue ammunition fired by the bearer. In addition, each wound for 6 for any special issue ammunition is a mortal wound. Yeah, it's okay. It's alright. And again, these are free of charge, you're not paying points for these unless you're going to use some command points to get extra ones. The Beacon Angelus. Once for battle at the end of your movement phase, the bearer can use the Beacon Angelus to teleport a friendly unit to his position. When he does so, select a Deathwatch infantry or biker unit is either on the battlefield or that is in a teleportarium. In either case, remove this unit and then set it up, hold within 6 inches of the bearer, more than 9 inches from any models. So you've still got the restriction of you have to be over 9 inches away from your opponent. You can't bring them in closer to them to make a charge, so you can't do that trick. But it's there if you need it. Again, you may well need it because the last thing you want for a specialised army is to land somewhere with a unit and then it becomes stranded, it's miles away from the action, it needs to walk around wasting its time. And again, that's another reason why not to specialise too much in one direction for units. So you've got units specialised in combat, you land them in, they destroy a target and then they're stranded. The other enemy units are miles away and you've got to walk around. Whereas if you've equipped it with some shooting ability, you can move around and fire and then it can get into combat later on. So it's that kind of idea. The Dominus Aegis. Model with a Storm Shield only. The Dominus Aegis replaces the Bearer's Storm Shield. The Bearer has a 3+ Invuln save. In addition, if the Bearer does not move in your movement phase, then until the start of your next movement phase, friendly Deathwatch models within 6 of the Bearer gain a 5+ Invuln save. Cool. That's quite a good rule. Dominus Aegis. That's Deathwatch models within 6. Cool. Yeah, it's interesting, that one. You could use that to some effect, that. That's an interesting one, that Dominus Aegis. The Osseous Key. Watchmaster only. Enemy vehicles subtract 1 from their hit rolls whilst within 9 inches of this model. Each time the bearer fights, you can make an additional attack. The Osseous Key against an enemy vehicle within an inch of them. If the attack hits, the target unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's a really good one. Wow, that is a good one. Give that to the Watchmaster. Because he's like 2s to hit. You get your 2 and then it's D3 mortal wounds every time against a vehicle. Nice. That one's a good one. Thief of Secrets. Models with a power sword. Thief of Secrets replaces the power sword. It becomes AP -3, 2 damage. Normal strength. When setting up the bearer, pick one of the following keywords: Orc, Tyranid, Tau Empire, Eldari, or Necrons. You can reroll wound rolls to this weapon when attacking enemy units with that keyword. Okay. The Tome of Ectoclades. At the end of each of your turns, pick a mission tactic. To the start of your next turn, you can choose to apply the effects of the mission tactic that is currently active, or the mission tactic you've chosen the Tomb of Ectolades to any Deathwatch units from your army within 6 inches of the bearer each time they attack. Okay, it's a bit more flexibility there with your tactics as well. So there's some pretty helpful ones there. Okay, so then you've got access to Veil of for the Librarius discipline. I think this is exactly the same as what the Space Marines have. Yeah, so we'll move on here with this one: Psychic Scourge, Null Zone, Might of Heroes, Psychic Fortress, Fear of the Ancients, Veil of Time. Yeah, okay. So then you've got your tactical objectives, ones that are nicely themed and specific there for the Deathwatch, and then your points, values, and costs here. Yeah, and that's that brilliant box set that Games Workshop released, where you got those fantastic Deathwatch models. They really are nice. They're fighting against the Harlequins there, and again, beautiful models for them as well. So it's appropriate that Games Workshop are releasing the two near to each other. So that is it. That's the review for the Deathwatch. So I still think they're a challenging army. Maybe you disagree, but I think they're a challenge to get right. So if you're a Deathwatch player and you've played quite a few games of them, then are they a challenge? I think they are. But if you've used them in games, then by all means have your own say there in the comment section. What do you think of the new Codex? Is it going to help? I think it's going to help. It's bound to help to some degree. But it's still going to be difficult to get it right with the Deathwatch. You know, it's still going to be an elite army, expensive enough in points. Delivery is going to be an issue now with them, especially with the new rules for FAQ, having to hold off with a load of units till turn 2. You know, and then you've got the problem of, what about my units that are on the board in turn 1? They're going to be on their own. So there's that headache to try and deal with. So there's that there as well. And then combinations. So which combinations work really well for your veterans, and now your intercessors as well. Which combinations, size of the unit, weapons choices for shooting and melee, and then sort of your actual tactics and so on. All that would be fascinating to read about in the comment section below. But there it is, that's the review of the Deathwatch Codex. I've got mine from Games Workshop. They very kindly sent me a copy ahead of time, and then I usually get mine from gamingfigures.com, so you can check them out. They do Games Workshop at a discounted rate. But there it is, that's the Deathwatch Codex review. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.